Hello, everyone. Good evening. You're welcome to another edition of Just Banter. Okay, somebody was making fun of me a few days ago that I always say, hello, folks. So maybe I should start with that. Hello, folks. Hope you're having a great time. It's Christmas. Christmas is just right around the corner. I'm sure you can see the tree over there. And everybody seems to be in a pensive mood, probably because of COVID-19. Lockdowns are springing up everywhere. In the UK, yesterday, under tier 3 lockdown. Wow, what are we going to do? COVID-19. The vaccine's out now. We don't know exactly what the truth is about the vaccines because there's some reports that some people actually reacted to the vaccines and all that. But we'll see, time will tell. Tonight, we have an amazing guy, an amazing fellow as a guest tonight. Now, for a lot of young people who have mobile phones and stuff like that, status symbols, a lot of them truly don't know exactly what to use them for. It's just buy them, the functions and all of that. A lot of them don't know how to use it. But you also have old folks. I don't know if you can categorize me as one, but there are quite a few people like myself, my age as well and older, who buy a lot of expensive phones and they don't know the functions on those phones, but they spend a lot of money. $2,000, $3,000, that kind of money to buy mobile devices that they hardly ever use apart from just doing the standard calls. Now, a lot of shocking things when it comes to mobile phones in Africa. We have seen the good and we have seen the bad. In 2019 alone, over 218 million plus units of mobile phones were sold in Africa. Now, the funny thing is this. Over 50% of those mobile phones cost less than 100 US dollars. In Nigeria, that's probably maybe about 45,000 naira. But iPhones are the most popular phones on the continent. People keep talking about them. There's always a buzz around iPhone, even in Europe, even in America. Sometimes, when the new model of the iPhone is coming out, you see people. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, all right. So when a new model of the iPhone is coming out, you see people queuing around the stores, trying to get in on the market, and all whatnot. They want to be the first or the second or the third to get the iPhone and all of that. Everybody's scrambling, and they're so expensive. Now, the iPhone 12, on the average, starting out costs about $1,099 US dollars. Starting price, I said. That's probably for, the base model that has probably 2 cameras and stuff like that. Now, it doesn't even come with a charger. You have to buy the charger separately. And then you have to buy the AirPods and stuff like that. You have to buy all the accessories separately. So at the end of the day, you're probably, coughing out maybe about $1,400, $1,500 for a mobile phone and the accessories. Even the phone cases are one of the largest markets in the world. A lot of people are making tons and tons of money selling phone accessories. But hey, young people love phones, especially in Nigeria. But we discovered this young man who, instead of actually coughing out that money and buying a mobile phone, the iPhone 12, and showing off to his friends and telling everybody, oh, I got a new iPhone, blah, 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 blah. He decided to put that money into better use. What did he do? In the ancient city of Kano, he took that money and he set up a Suya spot. Branded it properly, made it look fantastic, made it look pretty interesting, and then he went into business. He's going to come on stage, he's going to, on screen rather, he's going to tell us quite a few things about it. But what I found the most interesting about it really was the fact that after he put in the money for the phone, well, he said an iPhone Pro Max, so that's probably around 800,000 naira, about $2,000 thereabouts. He still had enough to pay salaries for 2 of his staff that he hired, or is it 3 of them, for the next 3 months, even after he set up. So that goes to tell you how you can actually spend your money. Now it's Christmas. It's actually a time to buy loads and loads and loads of gifts for your loved ones. But a lot of people actually splurge when it comes to such holidays. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it is also a time to reflect, think about it, The average cost of starting a cottage or a small business in Nigeria, particularly, is roughly around 250,000 to 300,000 naira. So you can't even buy the base model iPhone with it. So we're going to talk to the man that actually decided to make that smart move and set up something instead of spending that money. Hello, Asim. How are you?
Hello and good evening, everyone.
How are you,
Good
Asim?
evening, Mr. Nice to meet you.
It's good to
I'm
have
fine, thank you.
you. Do you have two devices on there?
Sorry, the audio is not audible.
I said, do you have two devices on?
Do I have what? Sorry.
Two devices. Do you have two devices? Do you have multiple devices in that space?
Oh no, I don't really. I don't have.
Oh, okay, all right. So probably it's the network that is misbehaving. We're used to that. We're used to that happening. So probably what we
I,
need to do is
I
maybe you need to
think so. I think so.
maybe you need to log out and log back in, and then the audio will be better. Can
Okay,
you hear me?
I will try
All
that.
right, do that. Okay, so yeah, so we'll wait for Asim to log back on, and probably, hopefully, the network will be much better when it comes back on. Now, back to the issue of the iPhone. When I first heard the prices of the iPhone, I was shocked. I was like, what? Almost $2,000? Really? Now, I'm one of those funny guys. I can actually use a phone for 5 years. It doesn't bother me. I mean, if I can receive calls, I can send text messages. It works fine. I mean, it works fine for me. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, I also use quite a few Apple devices because I need to sync my devices because I work from everywhere because I work remotely mostly. And I happen to move around quite a bit. I travel a lot. So I do use Apple devices. I know how much they cost. But the one I've always found, a bit of a shiver is for me to cover that kind of money to buy a mobile phone. Why? Because the phone can drop, the screen gets cracked, or the back gets cracked, and they start hearing that you have to pay $300 to fix it. Or even worse, it gets stolen. Then what do? A $2,000 phone. I'll collapse. Yeah, some people will say, yeah, insurance, but still, in a country like Nigeria where you hardly get insurance for your mobile phones, what do? I think we have Asim back, so I'm going to try and bring it back on screen now. Hello, Asim.
Hello, Mr. Habib.
Is your network better now?
Yes, it's
We
almost
can
perfect. Hello.
Yes, so we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah, so Asim, tell us a
Yes.
little about yourself because a lot of people don't understand what it's about. You know,
Okay.
we think Asim,
Uh,
didn't buy a mobile phone, he decided to set up for yourself.
okay. My name is Asim Balarabe Yazid. I was born in Kano State. I grew up and I finished both my primary and secondary school in Kano. Then where I moved to ATB Bauchi, spent a year and then transferred to Nile University of Nigeria, where I studied computer science as profession. I got employed immediately by the school IT department, where I started and finished my master's in the school and now running my PhD program, where I also
Yeah,
got promoted to a lecturer.
that's fantastic. So,
Thank you
and
very much.
you're also the founder of a technology company. You're a computer
Yes,
programmer by
yes,
profession.
exactly. I'm also the CEO and founder of Night Owl Technology, which is a technology firm I created immediately after my graduation. So it's a tech company that focuses on software development, such as websites, mobile apps, and any other related tech product.
Okay. So there's a lot of buzz around you. A lot of people are asking questions, based on
Yes.
the headline, basically, which is you giving up the opportunity to buy an iPhone 12 Pro Max, and instead you set up a Suya business.
Yes,
Now, can you
exactly.
tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, exactly. Actually, it was something I have initially earlier as a programmer. I need a very good computer, so I wanted to upgrade my MacBook to a newer version of maybe 2020, and then that was during Corona period, and then I waited to see if I could you know buy get enough to buy the latest iPhone that's gonna come out this summer. So that was how the whole thing started. Before, it was a MacBook Pro that I want to buy, and then I was contemplating on buying either MacBook Pro or iPhone. So that was how it all started.
But why did you set up a Suya business? Because it's so common, it's everywhere. I mean, you see Suya everywhere. So what
Well,
exactly was?
actually, it came when I wanted to spend the money to buy an iPhone. I just look at the money when it took me time to save that amount of money, but in just few clicks of buttons, you you spend the whole of that amount. And when you look at it, if it is an e-transaction, it's not as when you see the cash
Yeah,
on your hands. So like I actually was really, it was not, it was a very difficult decision to 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 spend that money. So I was thinking of, spending it on, a business. So during, the COVID-19 lockdown, that was when I got the idea of, that Suya sport. So it came in handy because I already have the resources on
yeah.
ground. I don't need any assistance or any funding. It's a small business that requires that amount of nothing less, nothing more, and that was really easy for me to just see the idea came into reality.
Okay, so for those of you that are watching, yeah, Asim said a few minutes ago that he's a tech programmer. Now, a lot
Yes,
of tech programmers don't speak a lot. A lot of them are very quiet people. They're very geeky people. They just sit behind screens and they type away. I'm
yes.
probably one of the very few that talks, quite a bit. But anyway, Asim, how much was that phone going to cost you?
That phone will have cost me around 800 or more thousand.
Close to $2,000.
Yes, 800,000. Yes, exactly. So
A lot of people have never seen that amount of money physical cash in their lives.
sorry.
A lot of people have never seen 800,000 naira physical cash in their lives,
Yes.
especially in northern Nigeria where you come from.
Yes, exactly.
But you
That's
do
so
see
true.
quite a lot of people using those types of phones, even much more expensive ones.
Yeah, I have seen it. I have seen it. It's common. It's common, really.
Okay, viewers. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a quick look at what Asim's business is like, and then we'll
Yeah.
come back to what 800,000 naira can do for the average person
And also,
in
one thing I
Nigeria.
forgot to make mention of
Yeah,
is
go ahead.
as a tech programmer and an IT uh, specialist. Actually, there was a time, an incident that happened when there is no network in the working place. So
Okay.
yeah, at that time, I just realized that my job really depends on internet. So that
Yeah.
was one of the reasons why I started thinking of diversifying my ways to get money if, let's say, there is no internet. So I think the Suya Craze business is one of the ideas that came into that. There are a lot of ideas, but Suya Craze is one of the ones. Is one of the list that I prefer and s- hope is going to, be more successful.
I am sure that you're going to have quite a bit of success doing this business because your foresight in taking that decision at this point in time was very
Yes,
timely. It was something that it was very necessary because a lot of people still have not come to terms with the fact that things have changed, especially with
exactly,
COVID-19. Now,
exactly.
let's give the viewers a quick look at
Okay,
the back end of your business, and then we'll come back and then we'll take a few more questions from you. We'll be right back.
okay, all right, thank you.
Todo este parte de un plan. Esto es para darte con flow animal. Esto es para comerte este pan. Muévete al ritmo del bam, bidi bam. Bam, bidi bam, bidi bidi bam, 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 bam.
So, Atom, I'm sure the
Yes,
viewers have tons and tons and tons and tons of questions for you, but I will start with my own questions.
okay,
First things first, that's a fantastic place you have there. I
yes,
can see a
thank you.
lot of safety measures that you put in place. I can see that you have staff and your staff are wearing gloves and they're also wearing face masks.
Yes,
And I could also see that you had some measure of infection, spreading steps, put in place, safety measures. There's a 1 meter gap between the customers that were there. One was standing just by the counter and the other one was standing like a meter away.
yes,
So that goes to show that you have put quite a lot of thought into this Suya craze before you started it.
yes.
Now, let's first start with how much did you invest initially to start this business?
How much do I invest in what? Sorry.
How much did you start with?
Actually, I started with everything. It's
Eight
eight
hundred
hundred.
thousand.
Yes, it's 800 that I have. So that was what happened. So, but the first thing first that I did is to, cut, send, partition the amount, making sure that whatever I, did, about 100 to 150,000 naira won't be affected at, during the launching of the, business. So
So you had a cash
first things
reserve
first,
of 250,000.
yeah, actually I reserved
Okay.
some amount of money so that those that should be able to, handle the business before the business can be able to survive on its own. So that was how it all started. But everything is not something that we just do it offhand. It's something that was well planned and before it got executed.
So can you tell us the process? So did you start with first a business plan? Did you start with a market survey? What were the steps that you took? Because a lot of people would like to know how they could also, set up one small business for themselves. So that's why we'll ask you so many questions. We have tons of them for you.
Well, it all started like back to the very first answer. It all started from the lockdown. I left my home since after my graduation from secondary school. I like for like 8 years ago now. So I haven't stayed in Kano for a very long time. So anytime I
Okay.
came to Kano, I just spend like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I go back to Abuja. During lockdown, that was when I realized that Kano is missing so many things that I take for granted in Abuja, like such as chicken suya. So
Yeah.
normally the normal suya we have is beef suya. So actually that was how the whole idea started. There is not very there is no place, hardly you find a place that sells chicken suya. It's not common at all in Kano. So that was how it all started, from chicken suya.
Really? Because I would have thought that a city like Kano would have, I mean, Kano has what? About 18 million people or something like
Yeah,
that. I would
it
have,
has suya everywhere, but you don't they just stick to tradition. Okay, suya meat is only meant for beef, not any other meat at all. So, but going to Abuja, and that really opened my mind to possibilities that okay, just because suya is only served with beef doesn't mean that it is going to be only and only beef. So during Kano lockdown, that was when I realized that that is an untapped opportunity. I really have there on spot.
So you
So
did see a gap in
then
the market.
yes, then the idea continues. When you have an idea, you just continue thinking of it and keep asking people how do they think about it. And
Yeah.
so and then it all then continues. Okay, what about fish suya again? What about ram suya? Well, actually, so that means we are crazy about suya. So that was how everything came into to being.
Wow. So now I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, because like we mentioned earlier on,
Sorry.
when you look at, I said, I'm thinking about the stuff that you're talking
Yes.
about and trying to process where you started from and how
Yes.
you started. So you saw a gap in the market. You had the physical cash at hand,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and then you had to make a tough choice between a want and a need,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
decided to go after the need.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people don't understand that. So take for instance, like we have on the screen, the average cost to start a cottage or a small
Yes.
business in Nigeria is roughly about 250,000 naira.
Yes. Yes.
Looking at your store, where your business is operating out of, it's obvious that yes, one could start a business with 250,000 because you went as far as showing the level of sophistication that you had. Because, like I
Yes.
said earlier on, you had the gloves, you had the face
Yes.
masks, you had the big 3D logo,
Signboard.
made,
Yes.
and
And
signage for
also
your business and all of that.
the bamboo fencing. It's quite expensive, too. And also the
Oh, okay,
interior. I didn't show you the
yeah.
interior, so it's also expensive. Everything, it's well tiled. The ceiling is, the roofing is well sealed and well painted. Refrigerators and everything. Uh, we didn't really compromise on anything from the
So
button up.
more or less, you are saying to the viewers that they could start a business with 250,000 naira if they wanted.
Yes, 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 of course. Yes, of course. You can start a suya business with even less than 250,000 naira. But the way I look at the way I started mine, I started it very strongly. Yeah, when you look at it with, uh, we really we really spent money trying to uh, pay attention to details. So that was the reason why everything is more costlier than a normal small business of suya, which is around 250,000 naira.
Yeah, so
The
you did a
business
lot
you're
of modernization, you funkified it.
250,000 naira may only include sorry.
I said you did a lot of modernization, you funkified it, you made it much more appealing
Yes, yes,
to the modern day
exactly.
buyer or customer.
Yeah, exactly. I also bring suya. I also brought suya into an online business, which is not seen. Never, it has never been seen before.
Oh, you do online deliveries as well? Oh, sorry, or online sales?
Yes, online. Yes, most of our customers are online customers from Twitter, Instagram, and we also offer delivery. So which is another unique thing in the business.
Okay, so we're going to go on a short break, and when we get back, we're going to be asking Asim a few more questions, especially around the fact that Asim has been able to so modernize his business. He has introduced the e-commerce aspect into his business. We'll be right back shortly after this break. Hello, folks. Good evening. If you're just joining us, you're welcome to another edition of Just Banter. And tonight we have an amazing fella as a guest. His name is Asim. Asim is a technology guy, but he decided to look at the market where he was operating as a technology guy, as a programmer. He realized that because of the internet challenges and all of that in Nigeria, he had to diversify and find something that he could do to make sure that he has a consistent income. Now, that is not the hook of the story. The hook of the story is he, just like every other person who loves gadgets, had enough cash to buy an iPhone 12 Pro Max. And then he sat back, he thought about it, and he said to himself, you know what? I think I can use this money to generate more money rather than spend on the phone, a depreciating asset more or less, depending on how you look at it or what you use a mobile phone for. And then he invested his money in setting up another business. And that business is called Suya Craze. And Suya Craze has become a wave. He's even introduced an e-commerce aspect to his business. Now we're going to bring Asim back on board, and then we're going to hear him tell us about the e-commerce side of things, what technology has done in enhancing his business so far. Hi, Asim. You have to unmute your microphone if you can hear me. Hello, Asim. Please unmute your microphone.
Yes.
All right, that's great.
Sorry.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So, Asim, before we went on that short break, you mentioned that you had introduced an e-commerce aspect into your business.
Sorry?
You're showing, I said before we went on break, you mentioned that you had introduced an e-commerce aspect into your business.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Is that as a result of your background being in technology, or why did you, go into online sales and online and delivery?
Yes, as an IT, guy, and we have this advantage uh, of of our technical skills when it comes to building sites or social
Yeah.
media. So immediately after I coined the name, the first thing I did is to think of reserving the domain names, and also registering the name officially with the CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission, and then move on to make sure I secured all the social handles. So from the very first idea, actually we try to see if we can be able to get online customers. We were not even targeting the street customers per se, but our very aim is to target customers online.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we venture into e-commerce.
Okay. So now, when you look at your offline sales and your online sales, which is better?
Well, I can say the online sales are far more better than the offline sales. Uh, from what we are seeing so far, we are receiving more orders from online than offline. But even the offline customers, they had they had they had about Suya Craze from online. That's the reason why they came. So they will say, well, I heard about you, or I saw your business online. I said, let me come and see it myself and all that kind of stuff. So I can basically say most of the customers, if you look at that, put that into consideration, they're all online customers.
Wow. So basically, you're running a Suya business, but it's an
Yes.
e-commerce Suya business.
Exactly.
That's the first I'm hearing of that. That's pretty amazing. I've never heard. I've never thought of it in that light before. Now, for a lot of people, they've looked at the youth in Nigeria. At some point, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was quoted as saying that Nigerian youth are lazy youth. But we're looking at somebody like yourself. You're a young man, fairly young man. You actually do have your skills, your technical skills, of which there's a lack of it mostly in the market. So that
Yes.
means there's a lot of demand for your skills. But at the same time, you still took up, that initiative. You decided to start something that was quite different from what your technical skills are, but then you now incorporate your technical skills into the back end
Yes.
to take the business to another level. What do you think of that perception of the Nigerian youth being lazy?
Well, the perception of Nigerian youth being lazy depends actually on the context of which it's being said. When we are talking about generalizing that all Nigerian youths are lazy, actually I will really disregard that. The fact that I'm a living example that there are so many hustlers, youth hustlers, or very hardworking youth. So
Yeah.
from that aspect, I can really I don't really agree that Nigerian youths are lazy. So the only thing is maybe they don't have the opportunity, to show their capability. That is what I can say about that.
Yeah, but when you say that they don't have the opportunity to show their capability, you, for instance,
Yes.
it's not a case of you were given an opportunity. You decided to create an opportunity for yourself.
Yes. So like now, I can, thank God that I have, uh, I have a really good opportunity of traveling out of my state to
Yeah.
other states. That enough. Uh, that enough. It's well enough
Th-
to
That
open my
opened
mind
up
to
your
many
mind.
other
Yeah.
possibilities
Hmm.
and opportunities out there. So besides that, I'm also working. So as even a hustler that have a great idea, if you don't have someone to assist you, or you don't have any capital on ground, so you see that is also a very big problem. So like now, some youths, they're actually focusing on maybe some big ideas that requires big capital startup that they don't really have.
Yeah.
So why not focus on something they can be able to start very humble, and then they grow the business upwards. So that is what I can say.
Okay, so some time ago, I had the privilege of sitting down with a young man who had some business ideas. Now,
Yes.
the entire finance he was looking for his idea
Yes.
was about 1.2 million naira. And he had he had accurate projections, his business plan was perfect, everything was good. But I had to ask him a question. Why do you need anybody to give you the money? And he couldn't understand why I was asking that money. Let me tell you why I was asking him that. He had two
Okay.
mobile phones on him, and both mobile phones is easily affecting 1 million naira
Okay.
in physical
Wow.
cash. So I had to ask him, why do you need anybody to give you the money? Because obviously you don't seem to need the money. You have a car and you have these expensive mobile phones. Why would you need
Yes.
anybody to invest 1.2 million naira in you when you could easily just sell your phones, even if you're going to, get half price for them? Let's say that's even 500,000, but at least you will have some equity. Now, we have seen that quite a lot of people don't do that. They don't look at issues from that perspective.
Yes.
They take the wants first, and then they now start dealing with the needs as they go along, and then they struggle from day to day. Now, there are quite a few people who have been willing to step up to the plate, each one, teach people, mentor people on how they can start small businesses, how they can raise finance for those businesses in the event that they don't have, and also to give them support, both short term, mid term, and long term. But a lot of these people have not seen enough people come to them to say, I need your help. Do you have a mentor?
Do I have a what? Sorry.
A mentor? Do you have somebody that's been mentoring you?
Well, yes, I do really have two great mentors in my life. The first one is my brother. He's really into entrepreneurship, and
Okay.
since from the very youthful age, I have been learning from him, and then there is also someone called Azam Omar. So I used to. He's also a successful entrepreneur here in Nigeria. So I actually used to get so many inspirations from them, and anytime I have uh, an idea, they're the first to criticize it. So that was how I build myself, and up to this level of both the energy level and also you know the know-how.
Okay. So somebody here is saying that your actions are mind blowing, especially because of the general perception that people have when it regards to youth all over the world, that is, not just in Nigeria. But in Nigeria, being Nigerian, we would look at our own and we would wonder what is wrong. We would wonder what it is that we could have done better, and we wonder what it is that we can do going forward. Now, for a lot of people, they want to ask you personal questions, probably off screen. Maybe they're going to reach out to you, you know, via your social handles and all of that. But before we give them that opportunity, we are going to ask you a few more questions.
Okay,
Now,
okay, no problem.
how did you come up with the name Suya Craze?
Well, it's really funny. I was thinking of the business name, but the time I was thinking of it, I was chatting with a friend. So I was even asking, please, if you can come up with a name, if you can suggest a name. So before we finished even the conversation, the name just came up to me in my head. When you look at, but what really inspired the whole name is the different varieties of suyas we have. So like it's more like this is we are crazy suya, that kind of stuff. So then Suya Craze, that was how we came up with it. In a very short time, that was how the name came into action. And that kind of stuff,
Okay.
when you came up with something, you don't need any validation from someone. So the moment I came up with Suya Craze, actually, I wasn't asking people, oh, do you like the name or not? I am already, 100% sure that, okay, this is the name I'm going to use.
So you went with your gut instinct and said, this is going to work.
Yes, so exactly. And then also the
Okay.
logo, it's the same person that I got the inspiration when I told the person that, okay, this is the name I came up with. uh, the person loves the name too, and then uh, they talk about, okay, what about the logo? Uh, they made mention that, okay, I can't wait to see some crazy flames in the logo. So actually, that also gave me the idea of how the logo will look like. So with my tech key, skills, I quickly designed the logo, and then that was how everything came into action.
So you designed the logo yourself as well.
Yes, I came up with the name, I designed the logo, everything myself. Yes.
Okay, so usually when people are being dodgy about the person that they were talking to and all of that, it's usually the opposite sex. So I'm sure it's a woman that we are having this discussion with, and she was telling
Yes,
you,
yes, yes. It's an opposite gender.
aha, I knew it. I got instinct and I knew it. Now you got inspiration from other people. You got inspiration, from your environment, and you also used the skills that you have.
Yes,
There's a lack of skills,
exactly.
or is it a case of there's an apathy? A lot of people just don't want to upskill and acquire these new skills and then be able to do something as productive as you're doing right now. What do you think is the issue there?
Okay. Hello, please can you repeat that?
Okay, yeah. So I said a lot of people,
Yes,
they lack skills.
yes.
Is it a case of they just don't want to acquire those skills, or it's a case of they don't have the means to acquire those skills?
Well, actually, one thing I learned from my school is, you teach yourself a skill. I wasn't being teach; I was being lectured. So lecturing and teaching is different. So
Yeah.
yeah, so what I was trained since from the very beginning is to learn how to, self learn, things myself. Like for example, the Photoshop telling you about that I know. I didn't learn it through my, degree, course outline because of computer science or anything. It's just an interest that I picked, and then, so the whole way is the mindset is the most important. If you have the mindset of okay, you don't really need someone. YouTube is out there. You learn it. Everything, it's going to be very, easier. You don't when it comes to skill acquisition of any kind now.
I totally agree with you because, funny enough, I taught myself quite a few things as well. I didn't need anybody to help me out. I
Exactly.
discovered the greatest resource on earth, which is YouTube,
Fantastic.
and I use YouTube to the best of my advantage. I mean, I gathered as much information, as much skills as I could from YouTube. But a lot of
Exactly.
people would have bought those mobile phones, and they still will not use the YouTube on those mobile phones that they have bought for 800,000 naira to learn
Yes.
something new. So that's why you seem to be different in this case, because in most cases, that would have been the normal thing to have done. Buy the gadget, which is acquire the want, and then you now start struggling with the need as they go ahead.
Yes. Exactly.
Now, I look at you and I am inspired by you myself because I'm like, oh
Thank you
wow,
very much.
I need to learn a thing or two from Asim because probably maybe I need to set up my own Suya spot somewhere in Egypt
No,
or in
that's good.
Morocco or something and actually start doing the e-commerce angle of things to it as well and use technology to drive it. Now, talking about that, before I would do that, I always ask, how much am I going to make from it? So tell me, what are your projections, short term and mid term, in running this business? And what are your goals going forward?
Well, my projections in this business is to see first, the business is well capable of, running itself. And I have already started saying that since from the day we started executing the business, I didn't put a single penny. The business itself is able to survive by itself. So, and then, I'm looking at it in the next maybe 6 months. Uh, we need to, either open more branches within
In
the
six
state.
months,
Yes, in 6 months. Yes, in 1 year, we go outside Kano State. That's how I'm looking at it from the
that is
projection.
some rapid expansion
Yes,
plans that you have.
yes, hopefully.
Are you sure you will employ me? Ask him.
You are overqualified.
No, that is a nice way of saying I beg, find your way. Now, for you to be talking of expansion in just
Yes,
6 months, that shows that you could actually set up a small business in Nigeria and you could actually grow. A lot of people
yes.
don't believe that. A lot of people believe that if you don't start
Yeah,
with
because
a
I've
large
already
cash
started
reserve,
receiving messages from people that they want to invest, in the business already. So that was, and also from Abuja, where I have many people, they are asking for a branch in Abuja. And I hope in a very short period, within 1 year, there's going to be branches, hopefully, inshallah.
so are you going to be doing this full time or is still going to be, a part-time business? Like you said, the business will run itself.
Well, it's going to be part time for now, but eventually, it's going to be full time. Actually, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and so this is not going to be my only business. I have many plans on ground. and time will come where I execute and bring more products out of the market, not only Suya Craze.
That's fantastic. Now, I'll tell you what I found the most amazing about this entire thing. What I found the most amazing is your journey, starting
Yes,
from Kano
yes,
and going all the way into technology, and then
yes,
going back to your roots in Kano
yes,
and setting up a Suya business, because it's no longer a Suya business. This is an
yes,
e-commerce business.
yes,
That's what it is. So you are using technology to sell a product that is readily available everywhere. So you're basically
exactly.
selling your product in a different way. That's what it is. Now, the most successful businesses in the world are businesses that have taken things that are generally available, taking them offline and putting them online,
Making them online.
and then
Yes,
being able to reach a wider
yes,
mass of people. And that is the exact model that you inadvertently have created. So I can see a really large market share waiting for you. Right? I mean, it's there. It's a given. It's going to happen at some point. Even though you live in a copycat society where people are going to try to replicate what you're doing. So that means you have to constantly innovate to be able to stay ahead of the
yes,
curve.
exactly, exactly. Yes.
So, like I said, maybe at some point you either employ me or you give me lessons on how to set up my own little business and then be able to move, ahead and say, I have a side business, I have a side hustle, and much later on it to become a full-time hustle. We all learn from each other. A lot of people are watching you right now and they're wondering, how can I do this? How can I do something small so at least I can be generating some income? So, like I said, you are inspirational, not just to the people watching this, but
Okay,
also to myself. So I am
okay,
grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you. Now,
okay.
before we go, there's a general perception about the youth of northern Nigeria, the issue of the Almajiris, the issue of, you
The
know,
issue, the issue of what? Sorry.
the issue of the Almajiris, the issue
Okay.
of huge unemployment in northern
Yes,
Nigeria.
exactly.
What will be your message to both the youth in northern Nigeria and to the leaders of northern Nigeria?
Well, when it comes to the Almajiri aspect, I think one the most important thing is knowledge. If you give someone knowledge, I think you have solved half of the problem of his.
True?
Uh, so I think if
Okay, there seems to have been a little technical hitch there. We seem to have lost Asim very briefly. But if you're watching this, trust me, I am inspired by what Asim has done so far. Asim, can you hear us?
okay, yeah, sorry, sorry for that.
Okay, all right.
Actually, so I think you listen you listen to what I said regarding education. So I think
Yeah.
my advice to the leaders is to actually empower education and skill acquisition. It's very important. So if you give a youth this, I don't think he will find any time to waste or do anything irrelevant.
Okay, that's brilliant. So we hope that you also are going to look at doing some internships for the youth and try to train a couple of people on how to employ themselves and become more productive to society. Hello, Asim. Can you hear
Hello.
us? Yes, can you
Yes, I
hear
can
us?
hear you.
Yes, I said we hope that you are also looking at doing some internship programs so you can also train some young people to be more productive as well.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I said we hope you are looking at doing some internship programs so that some young people can also learn from you and become more productive themselves.
Well, yes, not only internship. Actually, has I made a tweet that I have already employed 3 people. Now I think there are up to 6 people. So people were already
Between that
coming
period
to
of
me.
time I discovered you, just in a matter of days.
Yes, yes. So because of the demand is too high that our 3 staffs cannot handle the job. So we have to hire three people extra. So
That's
I think,
fantastic.
yeah. So I think from
That's
that, I
fantastic.
think people are learning, and it's an internship program is actually going on, kind of.
That's fantastic. Asim, like I said, you are not just an inspiration to the people watching, but also an inspiration to myself. We will be following your progress very, very closely, and we hope to be able to report on that expansion program that you're talking about in 12
Yes,
months. And then we'll see how far
yes.
you have gone. And then probably we'll invite you at some point to give a little talk to people, let people
Okay.
hear you speak, tell people, what your journey has been like, what they can learn from you. And we hope that they will truly learn something from you and implement those things. Okay, so unfortunately, I think we lost Asim there very briefly. I hope you'll come back so that we can sign out. But this has been an amazing, amazing, amazing evening for myself. Now, I discovered or heard about Asim just a few days ago when one of the producers forwarded his story to me. And he was like, "What do you think about talking to this guy?" Okay, I think we have him back. Hello, Asim. Can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah, so I was just telling the viewers that just a few days ago, I heard about you when
Yes,
one of the producers forwarded your story to me and said, "What would you think about talking to this guy?"
yes,
And I was blown away by what I read there because I was like, okay, now this is the type of story that I like to talk about because I like to see people start up from scratch with whatever it is that they have because I have done it myself over and over and over and over again
yes,
over the course of my life as well. So I can relate to what it is that you're doing. And that was why I was like, you know what? We need to talk to him. Let's reach out to him. Now, we're glad that you were able to respond as quickly as you did and make
yes,
yourself available. But
yes,
now you're throwing us another shocker by telling us that in that short period of time, your
yes,
business has taken another leap and bound, which
yes,
is you employing three more people. That is
yes,
aside the fact that you started with 800,000, you kept 250,000 of that in cash reserve, you kicked off your business, you employed three people, and you still had enough money to pay salaries for 3 months out of that entire 800,000. But
yes,
now you're saying you have also employed three more, which is six people in total.
yes.
This is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So this has been a clincher for me for this year. This is one of the stories of the year for me.
Thank you.
I've thoroughly enjoyed myself tonight. And we hope, like I said, we'll be able to come back in 12 months' time and talk about that's your expansion and let's see how far you have gone. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for taking out the time to join us tonight, Asim. And we'll see you again in 12 months' time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
You have a great night and all the best success in life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Habib. I really
All right.
appreciate
Good night. Yeah, thank you very much.
it.
Good night. So, a phenomenal guy, an amazing guy. But also, Nigeria is an amazing country, a very dynamic country. He has everything that you can think of. You've got the population, you've got the mineral resources, you've got the arable land, you've got the land mass, and you've got water, you've got deserts, you've got all the vegetation you can think of to do practically anything it is that you can dream of. But do we dream enough? That is the question for me. If we dream enough, I'm sure we can achieve enough. Now, as a dreamer, but also a doer, he started 100,000 naira. I know quite a few people, but that would be just probably two pairs of shoes for them because those kind of phones, they probably wouldn't use them. Those phones are not expensive enough for them. And there are tons and tons and tons of people also in that country who have never seen 800,000 naira cash before in their entire lives, who are looking for an opportunity. Now, if you know someone that can help someone, maybe you should reach out to them, talk to them, and tell them the Nigerian youth are not lost. They can still do things if they're given the opportunity to do things. If they have an enabling environment, they will still do things. And if they have the money to do things, hey, probably they will do it. They are dreamers as well. We see tons and tons and tons of them, especially when it comes to the entertainment industry. We see the amazing stuff that a lot of them are doing. But we also see the amazing stuff a lot of them are doing when it comes to technology as well. I mean, who doesn't know about Paystack? Who doesn't know about the Paystack success story? Starting from scratch, three guys coming together, robbing mines and all that. And then next thing, they're selling a company for $200 million to one of the biggest companies in the world, Stripe. So Nigerians are dreamers. Nigerians are doers. Everywhere in the world that you go, anywhere there's a Nigerian, be sure that there's money there. Why? Because Nigerians know how to make money. So let's look at ourselves. Let's help ourselves. Let's continue to hold the elected officials accountable. And then hopefully things will change. Now, SIM registration is ongoing, really. Should that be happening just towards Christmas? A lot of people are going to come into the country and they're not going to be able to buy phones, or rather SIMs, so that they can have lines that they can use on their mobile phones. I think the minister, Ali Pentami, should look at that, and probably they need to postpone this thing and worry much, much more about the security agencies rather than the infrastructure that is faulty. Everything needs to change, but it needs to be done in the proper way. It needs to be done systematically, not so aggressively. You don't need to distort the entire system just to prove to people that you're working. I think something needs to be done about that. Yes, with technology, I mean, they can register SIMs and all of that, but what are the people who are outside that window? What are the people who live in Nigeria but are actually not in the country at this point in time and they can't make it back? What happens to them? So they need to take a look at that. But anyways, now, 5 things that you could start with 250,000 naira off the top of my head. You could sell shea butter. You need somebody to supply with the shea butter? Send me a message. I'm sure I can tell you who can supply with shea butter. 100% great quality. And even though it's a business, he's always ready to support young people who want to do something. If it's technology and you don't know where to start, I also know somebody that can help you. Yeah, you don't have to pay 250,000 naira for that, but you will need 250,000 naira somewhere down the line to be able to set up your own space on the internet and say that you're in business somewhere along the line. You can also DM or send an email. We'll introduce you to somebody that will do that. You want to go into e-commerce? We can also do that for you. 250,000, yes, you can start an e-commerce business. Something else you can do? You can do shoes. I did shoes way back, maybe in my year 1, year 2 in university and all that, and it was pretty interesting. I didn't make a fair living off it. And I know tons of people who are still doing it. There are tons and tons of made in Nigeria shoes now that are actually hitting the international market, and they're doing absolutely well. Also, fashion. Fashion is going to be about $42 billion in Africa by 2021, 2022. There's a huge, massive market there for you as well. You can look at several ways that you can tap into the fashion market. Look at the supply chain. Look at where you can fit in. 250,000 naira, definitely you'll be able to do something over there. Look at it. Talk to the people you know. If you are not in need of setting up a small business, you probably know somebody who is in need of setting up a small business. Talk to them, encourage them. Give them the kind of support that they need as much as you can. Each one, teach one. In the spirit of Christmas, try and be giving, try and be loving. It's the season of love. So look after each other. Now, to our social messages, like we always do before we go, we talk about 2 things constantly, especially because it's the season to talk about it. And both of them are pandemics. The first one is the pandemic of rape. We keep quoting the statistics so that you will get the import of it. That 1 in 4 young women before the age of 18 in Nigeria experience sexual assault, i.e. rape. So you see 4 women walking on the road, 1 of them definitely has gone through it at the very, excuse me. We need to stop this pandemic. We all need to contribute our little quota in making sure that this stops. We need to look much, much closer at the way we treat our women, at the way we treat our elderly, and the way we treat our kids. They're all very vulnerable and they need to be taken care of. They need to be monitored very closely. Don't leave your kids with strangers, even with people that you know. Still, try and be a bit skeptical, be a bit more watchful, because you never know. Your kids will say things to you in ways and manners that you probably do not realize that you're trying to pass a message. So listen very closely. Listen to the things that they are not saying. Watch their actions. It's very important. Let's try and stop this pandemic. It's not just for women, children, some men too do experience sexual assault. 1 in 10 before the age of 18, as a matter of fact. So please, let's say no to rape. Use the hashtags say no to rape. Use the hashtags no excuse, and try and support this campaign against rape. Now, on the final note, COVID-19, still very real. Lockdowns are happening everywhere. Things are going on. People are dying. America has topped, their records day in, day out for the past 3 weeks. As of day before yesterday, were 308,000 people in one day that died due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Vaccines are out, yes, we know. But the safest thing to do is wear a mask, wash your hands regularly, as often as you can, and then try and keep a safe distance. No longer 2 meters, just 1 meter. So at least you can still whisper to your girlfriend from a meter away. She will still hear you. So let's try and keep a safe distance. Let's all try to keep safe. In the spirit of Christmas, like we always say, love one another. Now, you don't want to miss the next, no, not the next show. I think next year, which is on the 24th, because we've got special gifts for tons and tons of people in the spirit of the holidays. Happy holidays. Don't miss that show. It's on Thursday, 8 o'clock, 24th of December. But you also don't want to miss the one coming on Sunday. Another fantastic entrepreneur who is coming online to come and talk about her business, how she's making inroads into a very, very new market in a very, very new environment. Not her natural environment, but she has lived there for a little bit, but she's introducing something new into that environment. And she's doing fantastic. Okay, well, she has a partner who happens to be her brother as well. But she's the main pilot. She's the main driver of that business. And you will get to meet her on Sunday. Don't miss it, 8 p.m. You all have a great night and happy holidays ahead. Good night.